Hey everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Touliatos. He is the author of Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, available on his website, www.gtool, that's gtoul.com. He is also a regular columnist in Muscular Development Magazine, contributor to many other books and magazines. Joining us all the way from Athens, Greece. How are you, Doctor?
I'm fine, Ron. Good afternoon from Athens and good morning to Boston.
Yeah, it's actually a 6-hour time difference right now.
Yeah.
So we have some questions, but I just asked you if it was okay. I'd like a medical opinion on something that I just did a video on, and I have no scientific knowledge, no medical knowledge of this. It was about training while smoking or using marijuana, because you don't have to smoke it. But a lot of bodybuilders in the United States use marijuana, and a good amount of them even go to the gym, high or stoned, whatever you want to call it. From a scientific point of view, a medical point of view, are there any benefits to this? Are there any detrimental effects of this? Would you recommend it or say don't do this?
Well, personally, I haven't tried marijuana or weed or pot, or whatever you call it.
Like ever?
Now, never, because I was never smoking.
Wow.
Anyway, I have smelled it,
Yeah.
but never tried it though. But what I think is the benefit of marijuana is to chill out and to relax. Therefore, the best, and what people mostly use it, my friends, and they use it before bed, so to relax. So it's not a good idea to use it as a pre-workout, because you want to be stimulated, okay? That's why we use the stimulants.
Right.
But it's a good way to relax, and I remember when I was back in 1997, I went to the island of Santorini, vacation with a guy who smoked pot and had, right after hypoglycemia, he wanted to eat something sweet. And some people speculate that you may have increased aromatization as gyno, and perhaps this will contribute to the testosterone. You have a drop in testosterone and sex drive. But yeah, I believe it's a fact that marijuana makes you relaxed. And there's some guys that believe that it makes you drive psychotic.
Yeah.
To have, misconceptions and wrong assumptions. Anyway, people use it to relax, I think. And but this has nothing to do with the medical way of CBD, how you call it.
Right. But yeah, the majority of people that I've known, they don't use it to train. They do use it later on to relax,
yes,
to sleep.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
It probably, I don't have any evidence.
After having dinner, yes.
I think it probably helps your recovery, especially if you're like a nervous person and you have trouble sleeping.
If we consider that recovery is something linked with sleep, yes. And night sleep, of course, before midnight.
Okay. Well, I threw that question with no preparation, but these are the questions that we have chosen. You've chosen. So let's get to the questions from your fans and your viewers.
Yes.
Number one, how long, in your opinion, is it safe to stay on an elevated testosterone dose? And he gives a dose of 500 to 600 milligrams a week. What markers would you pay close attention to be absolutely safe?
Well, number one, I would consider erythrocytosis and hemoglobin plus hematocrit. This is the number one deviation that you have from anabolic steroids, because they release erythropoietin, EPO, and also because steroids are used as a treatment for as an alternative treatment for anemia. Now, there are some data that believe that HDL, the high density lipoprotein, can be lowered with higher doses of androgens. And perhaps this is the reason why men have lower HDL than women.
Because they're naturally higher testosterone?
Yes, and also because women are protected from estrogens.
True.
What else, of course, is you may get obstructive sleep apnea or snore because the neck gets thicker. And when it gets thicker, the pharynx gets narrowed. So when you have this smaller airway, because from the pharynx gets to the trachea, the air, you may have a turbulence flow, and this leads to snoring. and snoring means hypoxia. Hypoxia drives EPO to the kidneys, and then you have increased hematocrit just from snoring.
Wow.
And this can get as you work out and you use TRT, but in a higher dose.
Right.
Yes, these are the main facts. And also I would use a baby aspirin as a precaution, against clotting, because it deactivates platelets. It doesn't lower the number, but it deactivates platelets through prostaglandin inhibition. And what I call blast and cruise in testosterone, I would say cruise with 100 milligrams and blast 250. Now, somebody can use 250 as a TRT and blast to 500.
Or 1,000.
Oh yeah, but to 1,000 you may have problems with also aesthetic problems such as gynecomastia, androgenic alopecia, or prostatic enlargement.
Okay. I mean, you've known a lot of people. Have you known anyone who was able to maintain a dose of, say, 500 milligrams of
No,
test
but
a
I know
week?
another guy who's a bodyguard, and we know each other 20 years. He uses 250 a week for 20 years. The only thing he had was to phlebotomized. He was walking a lot because he didn't own a car, so his HDL was about 50. And the only thing he had to mind was this, because the blood gets thicker, the viscosity, and you have to take care of erythrocytosis and polycythemia in case platelets are also elevated. And blood pressure, of course, yes, because aldosterone is stimulated by testosterone, and then you have to check out blood pressure and sodium intake.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't think 250 milligrams a week would be in any way dangerous over a long term, because to me that's, regular doses of TRT, at least in the US, they range from 100 to 250 a week. So that's legitimate
Personally,
TRT.
my highest TRT was just below 200 milligrams because I use the everyday protocol. So I shoot 25 milligrams in 7 days. This is 175. My total testosterone was just above 1,000. It was about 1,050, 1,100. But what I had to take care of it was my phlebotomy and also my E2. So I was using on a regular basis 1 milligram of arimidex every week, because my free testosterone was aromatizing. Of course, I felt much better, but I had to take care of other things that comes as a result.
Okay. Okay. The next question is about blasting and cruising. How would you structure blasting and cruising for maximum muscle gain with testosterone only? And let's consider that some people, they're not afraid to use high amounts here.
Yes. Some people are not prone to erythrocytosis. They are blessed not to have hemoglobin above 17. Well, I'm very happy when I have 17.5 hemoglobin. I'm prone to, yes, my bone marrow is very sensitive. So yes, I believe 1 gram of testosterone is fair enough in order to produce gains. It doesn't mean that 2 grams are better. 2 grams give you side effects, but personally I have used 2 grams when I was off season for my last show. I didn't notice much more strength lifting in dumbbells than when I used 1,000 milligrams. So maybe there is this saturation theory of the receptors, of the androgen receptors.
But what about your muscle size and fullness? Was there a difference?
Perhaps in water gain, water retention. It was puffy, and I had this foggy mind, and it was too much of water retention. You don't know necessarily if this is muscle, lean muscle, or if it's fat and water, because aromatization deals with both. So what you have to carry is the lean muscle, the lean gains.
So, so what would you, if somebody came to you and said, "Doctor, I'm going to blast and cruise, I have tons and tons of testosterone, how should I structure it to be?" They want maximum muscle gains. They didn't really mention.
Well, 250 cruise and 1,000 blasts, yes.
As far as how long do you think, I guess it would be a case-by-case basis you'd have to monitor it, but how long in general do you think people could stay on a gram of test a week without major side effects developing?
Well, they have to watch out their left ventricular hypertrophy with heart ultrasound or triplex echo. Yes, because heart reacts to androgens because it has receptors, and also reacts to resistance training, heavy intensity. So yes, they have to monitor this and also the hemoglobin and hematocrit. But generally, testosterone is not a toxic drug. It's a natural hormone. It's familiar to the body. It's not a synthetic derivative. And I believe the injectable testosterone is not hepatotoxic like methyl testosterone or halotestin, which is a derivative of testosterone.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably a question for another day, but would you much rather see somebody who you cared about, like a friend, using a gram of test a week versus a gram of trenbolone a week?
Come on, trenbolone, man. This is going to kill you. This is sick. This is a poison. 1 gram.
Yeah. It's not uncommon.
Aren't you choking?
I've known a lot of guys who do a gram of tren a week. I don't think it's a good idea.
My highest dose was 400 milligrams.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't think much more than that would do.
There was one time I wanted to shoot. There was 1 milligram, 1 ml was 200 milligrams. So I was regularly shooting 1 ml, that is 200 milligrams. So one time I wanted to increase the dose. So as soon as I got to 1.5 ml, that is 300 milligrams, I started choking me out. I thought I was going to die. So I opened up the ventilator and I had to breathe because I thought I would pass out. And I used a bronchodilator, salbutamol, in order to be able to breathe. I mean, it's horrible, this feeling. You feel sick.
Were you getting that cough, the tren cough?
Oh, of course, yes.
You can't catch your breath?
Yes, choking, yes.
Yeah, it is pretty uncomfortable. Here's a good one. SARMs are still being talked about, still being used. Someone wants to know, what is your opinion on MK677?
Well, this is not a SARM.
Oh.
This is a GHRH peptide. That means it releases your endogenous growth hormone, the growth hormone releasing hormone. And what is different with this secretagogue is that it's used per os, that means from the mouth, orally. So it's more convenient, and the secretagogues, these peptides, are supposed to elevate IGF-1, but within normal range. So they are kind of safer, but they are cheaper, of course, than a regular growth hormone. And yes, what are they available for? For recovery mainly and age management purposes.
I mean, how would you compare the results of somebody using MK?
When I was using sermorelin acetate injectable combined with GHRP6 and GHRP2, I measured my IGF-1. It wasn't above 200, and the highest range is above 190. When I'm using growth hormone, it gets boosted to 350. So I don't believe that they can lead to serious muscle gains, because things that comes out from growth hormone is because of the IGF-1 release. Yeah. Therefore, there are more benefit, I guess, for fat burning and beta oxidation of adipose tissue. And also for recovery, yes, and age management and anti-aging that comes with low doses of growth hormone. Rejuvenation of cells,
So somebody looking to get growth hormone results from this product is going to be disappointed, it sounds like.
I guess so, that he has to take all the whole box.
Just get the GH, folks, I guess. Here we go. This is a question that came up a couple weeks ago, but we're getting a lot of good questions. It's going to take time to get to them all. During a cycle, some guys use Proviron to prevent testicular shrinkage. Do you approve? Well,
this is a topic that is largely a myth, because when guys come to my office, either patients or clients, they use Proviron within the cycle. Now, within the cycle, what is used for is to enhance the free testosterone, and you feel better with libido, sex drive, and mood, and whatever this is. Now, if you use Proviron post-cycle therapy, all androgens shut off LH. Now, there's an exemption with Proviron that it helps FSH and Sertoli cells that are responsible for spermatogenesis. Personally, I had experienced this in a patient who he was an ex-steroid user, and he wanted to improve his sex drive. So one chance is to do a PCT. The other one is to provide Proviron and DHEA as androgens to liberate his free testosterone. Now, what I noticed in his lab work after 1 month of use was a slight decrease in LH and a slight elevation in FSH. So it's tricky. If you want to have kids, then you may use Proviron along with HMG, which is human menopausal gonadotropin, and it's supposed to boost fertility. But if you want to boost your endogenous testosterone, I would suggest to use HCG along with Clomid or Nolva. So HCG with SERMs. So Proviron, yes, it can be used for fertility, but not for testicular shrinkage. For testicular shrinkage or testicular failure, the best drug is HCG. You notice that your balls get pumped, okay, at 20%.
It's better
And
than
yes, personally, I use 50 milligrams of Proviron along with my HRT, but I use it for other benefits like fat burning, mood, libido, okay, because it's not so much effective in muscles. It gets deactivated DHT in muscle tissue.
I don't know why so many guys are worried about how big their balls are, honestly. I mean, it's not like
But
they do it.
gorillas have huge balls because they have so much testosterone.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just an aesthetic thing, yes.
I guess. Well, I didn't even realize this. It's basic knowledge, so I can't believe I didn't realize it. But talking to Dr. O'Connor a couple months ago, he pointed out that semen volume is directly related to the size of your testicles.
Yes,
So if you have little shrunken testicles, you barely have any semen.
yes.
That's
Some
that I
women,
could see people being concerned about.
some women find it convenient to have small balls.
Yeah, I mean, I think they get in the way of leg presses. I'd rather have them small. Squats, leg presses. Oh, here's a good one. George in the UK wants to know T3. Is it a fat burner or does it also burn muscle?
Yeah, it's both.
Mm.
Actually, T3 is more effective than T4. Testosterone is stronger, is more potent than thyroxine, and also has a smaller half-life that has to be used twice a day, unlike thyroxine that has to be used once a day. The point is that T3 is more effective in beta oxidation, but it's more also potent to myocardium, and you may have also side effects such as tachycardia, tachypnea, which is breathing, also the heart rate, yes, the respiration is also increased, and also sweating. And yes, you may have arrhythmias because it's linked to catecholamines and adrenaline, noradrenaline, or epinephrine. But also, yes, one of the side effects of the thyroid hormones are muscle catabolism.
Oh,
That's why you have to combine it with anabolic steroids if you're on a cycle, and growth hormone also.
okay.
But the point is, T3 monotherapy leads to a problem because T3 is made up of T4. Now, if you use T3 in the long term, you're going to run out of T3 because T4 makes T3. Therefore, you have to use in first place T4, and you will never run out from T3 because T4 makes T3. So the best thing is to check out your TSH, because whenever you use exogenous thyroid hormones, you have a pseudo hyperthyroidism. But the point is that after TSH gets down, then it's going to get high, like we cease the steroid use, and then LH is suppressed. So yes, we have to watch out the TSH because it's very sensitive, this axis, and thyroid stimulating hormone. There are guys who used to eat junk and use thyroid hormones and go up to 200 micrograms of thyroid hormones, and then they messed up their axis and now they're hypothyroidic for life.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that happened to a lot of women. Women seem to be more prone to destroy their natural thyroid hormone production when they use these drugs than men.
And also the eyeballs pop out, exophthalmos, which is, a nasty thing, yes.
Yeah, bug eyes. It's not a good look. So
No.
people would be better off just using T4, not messing around with T3.
Well, yeah, they can use both, but it's safer to use also T4. That makes T3. But T4 is weaker. Okay, but if you want to use T3, make sure you taper it. So you go, for instance, 25, 50, and then 25 also. Don't cut it in cold turkey. This is very dangerous. And watch out your thyroid gland as an ultrasound, and also your TSH.
I mean, is something like thyroid cancer a possibility if you abuse
No,
it?
the cancer is the opposite. I mean, no. It has nothing to do with cancer, but hypothyroidism.
Okay, yeah. So the final question about that would be, so if someone's using steroids and this is just part of, T3 is just part of their cutting stack for a contest, would they not have to be concerned about catabolism because they're on steroids?
I guess so, yes. They're protected from catabolism through steroids and growth hormone.
Okay, good. Good to know. Okay, final question. How do aromatase inhibitors reduce HDL? If they reduce HDL by simply reducing estrogen, then it would seem, as long as you don't reduce estrogen too much, HDL should be fine. Or do AIs reduce HDL by some other means?
As I told you at the beginning of the show, women are protected and they live longer, and they're protected from heart attacks because of the heart protective role of estrogens. Now, when women get into menopause, their estrogens crash, and then we have more incidents of heart attack in women after their 40s, when they get to menopause. So yes, estrogens, they have a protective role, and when you lower them through aromatase inhibitors that, as a matter of fact, they're made for breast cancer, where you have sky-high estrogens, then you have heart disease because HDL drops, and also LDL is affected because, as a matter of fact, Nolvadex, tamoxifen, it is a serum. That means it's estrogenic in some tissues like liver and anti-estrogenic in other tissues like the mammary glands. Now, in the liver, tamoxifen is supposed to lower LDL. Why? Because it acts estrogenically. Another way also to improve our lipidemic profile is to provide phytosterols that are phytoestrogens, and there are some supplements that provide phytosterols. Now, estrogens, yes, if you crash on them to be more lean and to avoid gynecomastia, you have a problem with HDL and LDL also. And also with bone tissue, with mood, with erections, with joint ache because there's no accumulation of synovial fluid because estrogens promote water retention. And yes, this is the main reason, yes. I mean, single digital E2 for a bodybuilding show will drop your HDL single digital as well. Eventually, after the week after the show, my HDL was 9. Yes, and there were some guys. There was a powerlifter, a world champion powerlifter, who visited me in my office 3 years ago, and he had 5 HDL.
Wow, is that the lowest you've ever seen?
This is crazy. Yes, the lowest. Yes,
wow.
But in 2 months he managed to boost it up to 40.
What's the normal reference range for HDL?
Well, it's above 40, I guess.
Okay. Wow.
35, it's a bit low. I mean, you have to elevate it up to 40. But super high HDL is no better than a super low LDL. It's much better not to have the bad cholesterol that brings the atherosclerotic plaque.
I've never heard of a danger. I've never heard of anybody complaining about their HDL being way over the reference range. I didn't know that was even possible.
You can use niacin and krill oil, also low-pace cardiovascular exercise, and avoid smoking. Smoking lowers HDL.
Okay, cool. All right, well, that has been our questions for this week, Doctor. We got plenty again already for next time.
Okay.
People are loving this show. Great response so far. You know, excellent,
yes.
Excellent knowledge.
We have also questions for the next show.
Yeah, we're all set. I mean, we could do 2 of these a week, or we could do 2 more. Maybe we'll try doing a couple more questions every week. Who knows? I won't talk as much and take too long. We'll get through them faster. We'll try that. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. This has been episode 3 of Ask Dr. Testosterone. Please visit his website, gtoul.com. You can get his book there.
The new magazine is out, right?
Yes, the new issue of MD, the April issue is out.
Yes.
What are you talking about in the column this time?
The renal effects of steroids, the kidneys, yes.
Yeah. These guys are thinking kidneys. Who cares about my kidneys? Well,
yes.
Someday you will. You'll care when they go on you, trust me. So check those out, and thanks, guys, for watching. Keep the great questions coming. Doctor, thank you again. So much great information from someone who's, walked the walk and been in the shoes of these guys.
The feedback is good.
Oh, people are loving this show. It's doing great. So,
yeah.
Thank you, especially for the time difference. I know it's already nighttime over there. So thank you very much.
We have a good team with you and Dr. O and Dr. T.
Anabolic Doc and talk Dr. Testosterone. I mean, how can you go wrong?
I hope to see you in Vegas and Thomas also, and have a video there.
Absolutely. I'm planning. I'll be there. I know I'll be there. He's planning on being there. So cool. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Ask Dr. Testosterone with Dr. George Touliatos.